What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Coach Ken from Giving It a Try. We are week 29, 2025. Getting hot here, midsummer, almost coming through here in the Northeast. It's an epic metal Monday here. We've actually had a few athletes participate in their A race for the year, Musselman 70.3. A few athletes locally hitting some sprint triathlon. So it was a triathlon weekend. It was pretty awesome to track. I had my scorecard over here just so the athletes can see how I kind of track everything along as the day goes. It helps me input all the data afterwards a lot easier and just kind of see how the day goes. Because as we'll talk about and kind of quickly race recap from spectating from home on this 70.3, following along on all the feedback coming in from that race. It was a very, a lot of adversity driven race up there. What I mean by that is right away, especially with triathlon, the water was warm. So you had that option beforehand of, which doesn't happen often, and especially for this race, wetsuit optional. The water was too warm, so you had to make the decision the night before, basically. You're going to wear a wetsuit, start at the back of the field, not participate in any of the age group awards or anything, which I tell athletes all the time. Unless you've had a history of competing in your age group, do what is best for you. Do what is comfortable for you. Do what you do in training because you want to take the stress out of that. I like to kind of make my decision with triathlon the night before. Whether you're going to be okay not wearing it or wearing it, just make that decision so you can lay your head down at night. One less piece of stress, and just commit to the plan ahead of time, and always have that option of having that. Are you going to swim in your tri-suit? Are you going to get a swim skin? Are you going to bring your wetsuit? What kind of wetsuit are you going to have? That's just something that, again, we take the stress out of the training, which is just very crucial. And especially when you're in this mid-course distance, you just don't want to have that extra added stress ahead of time. But those athletes had to deal with not only that, deciding that the weather was looming to be a very, very hot day this weekend. Hot as in feel like 90 by 9 o'clock in the morning. There was a wind from the south, blowing water in the lake to the northern end, which is where the course is. And what that meant was a choppy lake swim in the morning. From what I heard, choppier than 2 years ago than when myself and the athletes did it. And it churned the water up a little bit. I saw some videos, and it was one of those, you're going into this thinking that it's going to be a nice, smooth lake swim. And unfortunately, that was not the case. So now you may have if you decide not to wear a wetsuit, again, whether depending on your swimming ability and things like that, that could be just a small detriment on a normal swim, just, on a good day. But then when you add in the factor of having some rough waters out there, I heard there was a lot of people that had to be pulled from the water, some people that didn't make the swim times. It's unfortunate, but this is the part of this talk that I'm getting into, which is the adversity on race day and the things that we cannot control. I always say control the controllables, and we're going to hit that again in a little bit. But after that, those that got out of the water, those that got their bearing straight, went into transition, got onto a course, a bike course, which was a lot of wind coming from the south. Reports were that they just felt like they had a headwind for most of the course. Big fluctuations in speed throughout the course, so that means they were going to hit with some wind as I was tracking. And then heading into the run, we all know what it's like on a hot day on the bike. You really don't understand how hot it is until you get off the bike, because you are moving at that 16, 17, 20 miles per hour, whatever it is, and you do have at least air flowing on you. So as you're sweating, it may be drying and you may not feel sweaty. That's because it's so hot, it's drying and just leaving behind, kind of like a salty residue. So by the time you get on the run and the air kind of stops and you step onto that pavement, man, it hits you like a sauna. I've had it all too many times during a race. So they were hit with that on the run course. And then knowing that ahead of time is, how much were we able to fuel on the bike? I'll be doing race recaps with the athletes this week. I all had them discuss a fueling strategy plan before, discussed that it could be very hot out, maybe some extra sodium intake. And now on the post-race recap, we'll pull that plan out. We'll take a look at it and we'll say, all right, that was your plan. Did the plan actually go to plan? Did you have to make any contingency plans out there because it got extra hot out, or you ran out of fueling, or maybe your stomach went sour? Let's debrief on what happened. So through the run, everybody, all the coached athletes made it through on the race. Congratulations. Yes, there weren't really many PR times or anything on the 70.3 distance, because that is just the name of the game with long course and triathlon is, even if you repeat a course a year, 2 years, 3 years later and think you're stronger, your training was there, everything's good to go, again, we can only control the controllables, controlling the inputs of what we're doing leading up to it, as far as making sure our training is there, the volume was there, the specificity for that course was there, our fueling strategy is there, all of our equipment is ready to go. We're not going to have any outside factors, where we could have maybe prevented some type of mechanical by having fresh tires before the race or something like that. But you controlled the controllables. You showed up on race day and you got ready to battle. And that's what everybody did this weekend, is everybody battled out there. So now that the fields are kind of 24 hours later, we're 24 hours post finish line for most people. I'm sure last night some people were down on themselves just because of some of the times and some of the running fall off times that happened in the heat. But just understand, overall, I never really say on races, especially 70.3s for my athletes, to like compare yourself to how you did in your age group. Just compare yourself to how you think, you should have been able to perform that day. Like, did you manage all the chaos properly? But in an instance like this, when you're kind of like, oh man, what happened? My bike wasn't great and my run really suffered. Now is when I like to zoom out and then look at, all right, well, let's look at how you fared in your age group versus everybody else out there that had to do the same thing. They were all presented with this adverse situation, this non-ideal race day, and now it's a matter of who controlled this chaos better than another athlete. So once we start diving into that, you start to see like that you actually had a good day in comparison to what everybody else was going through. And that's the time when I like to look at overall in your age group, just kind of seeing how it went with the average. And then the numbers start falling in afterwards of how many DNFs, how many people didn't make the swim time or the bike cutoff that drops from the course. And it was very high for this race. I'm going to try and get the official numbers for it, but it is one of the highest that it's been at this race. So even that, understanding that you were able to get through it, you got it done, that just shows the discipline and consistency you put in during your training to be able to step up to the start line. And you're especially the ones that have that did the course yesterday, the coached athletes, a lot of veterans of the sport, those that have been to this distance before multiple times in similar adverse conditions. So when they're presented with this, they just adapt and they overcome and they get it done. So having a bunch of these races and experiences under your belt is a very good thing. I was talking to an athlete, a non-coached athlete, who, had a little struggle in the water, getting out in the proper swim time, just was very, very close to getting out at the cutoff time. And it seemed like they were down on themselves last night. So as I was texting them, I was just kind of reminding them they're newer to this distance as well. It might be their second 70.3. They're training up for a different race this summer. And it's one of those, like I said, I've done about 12 70.3s before. And then I was trying to remember back, like, which 70.3, which days do I remember that were like just magical? Like I showed up and like the conditions were perfect for the swim. The weather was amazing for the bike, not a lot of wind. The run was nice, cool, and an overcast. And I only really maybe one or two of those races were like days that I magically remember. One of them was in Old Orchard Beach in Maine, where we had an ocean swim. It was one of my best swims ever, ironically, out in the ocean. We got on the bike. It was just a flowing, rolling, very fast bike, cool conditions. And when we got on the run, same thing. It was cool weather, kept our bodies and our heart rates, moving at a good level. And I think that still stands as my PR for the 70.3. So chasing that like beautiful course that allowed me to put those times up, it's really not just, it's a good metric to strive for, knowing what you can do in perfect conditions, but you can't let that dictate how you're going to feel on a day when you're just punched in the face from the morning of until the finish line. It's like going into a boxing ring with a different opponent. It just depends who comes out with less bruises and bumps at the end of the day. So kudos to everybody. Musselman 70.3, you all battled up there. Seriously, you like physically, went to war with the 70.3 distance. So I congratulate all of you, and I hope that everybody makes it back home safe, sound, and healthy. Continuing on for the week, there's a couple things I noticed on posts and I had to make a note of this as well. Just as is one of those side notes that I make in my phone during the week is cycling for the triathletes or just cyclists in general. Knowing the bare bones maintenance on your bike. This is like a non-negotiable if you want to race or train. All too often do I see people post up about like, oh, I have a flat, I'm stuck out here, can somebody come help me? Or, hey, I have this flat tire, I need to go ride tomorrow. Is anybody in the area that knows how to change this for me? Like that should be something, if you're going to get into cycling or triathlon, especially if you're going to race out there on your bike, or if you're going on these bike rides that it's not just a loop in a park, you're going out a few miles, 10, 20, 30, 40, or whatever it is and back. You kind of need to know these crucial essentials for multiple reasons. One, for your own well-being, so you don't have to rely on other people. All of a sudden, you go to get your gear out the night before and you notice you got a flat tire. You should be able to change that tube, no problem. You should, at the minimum, have the tools you need to change it. That's the first step. And then the second step is practice, practice, practice on knowing how to fix the minor things that may happen to your bike out there so you're not stranded. And why that's really important is take that to race day now. If we would have taken, some of the times from people yesterday at that race, which were a little bit longer than usual because of the conditions, and then throw a mechanical issue out there on the bike, and you're going to wait and rely on somebody else to come, which could be 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes out there on the bike course while you're waiting for some type of support to show up. That could have bumped your finish time and your other times completely out of the water, let alone does that just throw like a dagger in your day because now you're just standing on the side of the bike course, just melting basically, waiting for help. Is, again, just understanding how things work on your bike and understanding that that's a very important skill that you need to know. And so for anybody local, any of the coached athletes, if you're still unsure on any of that stuff, my door is always open. Contact me, DM me, email me. I can meet somewhere. I've done flat tire clinics. I've done them on the road. I've done them here, wherever it is. I'm on Long Island. If you need help changing tires, get a group of friends together. I'll give you a time. Let's get it done. Seriously, it's like one of those big things that I really harp on as a coach is knowing how to do that, how to take care of these simple things, how to wash your bike down afterwards, maintenance wise on that, because if you keep your bike in tip top race ready shape, not only is it going to be the most efficient piece of equipment you have out there on race day, it's going to, I feel, pay back the dividends to you as well. So if you need any help with any of that stuff, please reach out. I still, when I get some time, want to put some videos and content out about that stuff. But if you need some hands-on one-to-one group stuff, please, by all means, I'm Central Long Island, and I'll be able to help you out wherever you are. Let's make it happen. And then side note, the last thing for this week is, what do you do when you're possibly reaching burnout? What is burnout? A couple athletes, they've been grinding, doing it, cycle after cycle, triathlon, half Ironman, half marathons, marathon. There's never really been like a period of time when they can just chill, like get like 2-3 months of just like, don't even worry about a race. Don't even sign up for half marathon. Don't sign up for anything. That can allow your body to go into a deep recovery. Not saying we're not going to do anything, but we're going to bring the volume down and then add in all this other work that we need to do in order to get yourself back mentally ready, get yourself back physically ready, get some strength back, getting the proper fueling in, like catching up with the other things in your life. That's a part of the mental piece as well, is we have so many sacrifices that I've talked about leading up through all these races that it's nice to sometimes take a little step back and be able to, go spend some time with the family, go see your friends, go do things that don't require you to put on a wetsuit, a tri-suit, or some running shoes, and go have fun in a healthy way. Move your body, go join a volleyball team for the summertime, and be able to do that as well. So something that you can do to just kind of have some more fun. That's kind of how you can reset this mental and physical mindset shift. It doesn't have to be a grind all the time. And as long as you're maintaining, and I love working with athletes on this, is a solid base. And that's something I really want to develop more into coaching wise in the future, is helping people just keep a sustainable, healthy longevity approach to endurance and aerobic training, strength training, mental mindset, fueling day in and day out, like accountability for that plays the long game. And then you bounce around in and out of what you want to do. You have this ability to say, you know what, coach, in 3 months, I think I want to give a good go at a half marathon. Boom, we can start the plan and shift to there. Or build your year after a couple months of just hitting this consistency and say, well, how do you feel? What are your strengths now? Have you been able to get in the pool a lot more on the off season? Now you feel like your swimming has picked up, and let's pick some races that can show that. So that's the type of things that, I want to get into more coaching wise, is not just the grind of like, I got 4 months, I got to do this, give me a plan. 3 months, like the longevity approach of managing these off seasons and seasons and peaks and valleys of your training in order to make you a better, more rounded, resilient athlete that we can do. So that's something that I'm working on for the long term. Just wanted to throw that all out there for you. But that's it for today. It is, again, week 29. Enjoy yourselves out there. It's still hot. It's still humid. So train smart, stay healthy, keep balancing that life 1 mile at a time, and I'll catch you all on the next one.